All right. We are back with Hour 3 Star Wars. There we go. The Forgotten. We are, well, Scott, just pick it right back up where we left off.
Well,
As a reminder, I want to throw out there, by the way, for those who may have forgotten, we have Destiny points. Feel free to use them. Same thing with you, Scott.
Yes. Oh, trust me, I have not forgotten. I'm just looking for an opportunity to use my two.
I think it's going to be as soon as he starts using them, we're going to be like, and we put ours in there.
Yeah. So it literally picked up with 420 being like, Roger, and making his way up the ladder to go and take over piloting, or at least offer assistance. As you got up there, he was like, what the? And kind of like reached down. Again, this is an Ugnaught, so not very large or imposing in size or stature. And he reaches down and grabs a blaster pistol and goes to aim it at you. Whether or not he attacks, let's see.
I detect that he is moving for his blaster pistol. And so I, too, reach for my blaster. And I blast him.
When I see that his character goes up and he's like, I'm going to pilot the ship, I look at Warbo and I'm like, this is not going to go well.
I imagine he can't just blast him right away, right? Like, do we have time to execute,
Do you have time to what?
execute something else before he just starts firing on this guy?
Well, the fun thing is, you guys technically get to roll initiative. We're not going to roll because you're gonna win, and it's party decision who gets to go first. So, if the party would like to vote not his turn yet, it's not his turn yet. I will say I'll give it to 3 of you, then me, then 1 of you. So, go.
Let me blast him.
Who would you guys like to go first? It sounds like Jesse might want to go first himself.
I would love to go first.
All right, there you go.
I guess when I look at you and I'm like, this is not going to end well, and then you're like, you just go up there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you see him pull out his blaster pistol, and then a giant furry hand comes up and sort of lifts the Ugnaught up out of the seat and like away from danger, and just sort of tosses him down the ladder.
Wait, how does he get up there? Because he has to get past 420, right?
Yeah, you have to climb up right behind 420.
All right, never mind. A giant fur paw comes up on 420 and pushes him back down the
Sounds like that's gonna need a roll.
That is gonna need a roll. That's fine.
So, yeah, competitive roll, Scott. How does that happen? What are they doing?
They're competing with each other.
It's going to be brawl to each other. You go right ahead.
Oh God.
Opposed brawls.
Are we all right? I'll roll my brawl versus whatever he's got.
Well, we know who's going to win.
Well,
Go Krendor.
good luck.
All right. Hold on here. Let me just go down
If he
and
wins
roll.
this, he's like, I have
Krendor's
5,000
like-
points.
Pretty even with you. Oh man.
Not in brawl. All right, we know who wins.
So you grab him and you throw him back down there. You grab him and you throw him back down there. He's
Rudder.
what's your soak damage with 420?
He
what's that?
breaks. He just shatters.
It's right at the top of your character sheet under.
It's 2.
All right, so your
Nice.
soak damage is 2. You're going to take from that fall, you're going to take 3 points of wound damage after your soak. So you kind of like, and you land on the ground next to Mathis, next to Fitz, who has his bag out, and he's just kind of like, anything that's breaking, he's kind of just going over there and trying to fix. As all that's happening, I'm going to go back to Jesse, but Mathis, roll for me a mechanics check, please. Jesse, so now you're standing there.
Against
So
what,
Jesse,
though?
You climb up behind him. I'm sorry?
Against what? What am I doing?
2. And you're going to, he now has the blaster. He sees you throw the thing down the hole, and he's kind of looking at you like, because he knows who you are. So like, and there's like a pause. Do you say or do anything?
Can I do it? Do I have an action here? Can I do something?
Your action was to throw him down the hole, but you certainly can speak. Or like move.
Yeah. Warbo gives him a look and just goes like sort of gestures to the guy he just threw down the hole, and then looks at him and sort of gestures that could be you too if you don't move over.
So it's kind of like, awesome.
In the co-pilot seat.
Okay, so so funny with this model of the ship, there actually is no co-pilot seat up here. There's literally just the one seat for this one pilot. That's it.
Where'd little Boba Fett sit?
Yeah. Well, that was a modified version.
Where he was like, hey. Where'd Boba Fett sit? That's the best part of the movie. Little couch. So stupid.
Oh, jeez. We can just crap on those movies for hours. So you're standing there. There is no co-pilot seat or anything like that. There's just the kind of like the sparking and
He's an Ugnaught. He can move over. Like 1/18 of my size. Get over.
So you go over to like where the pilot is, and he's continuing to. He's like puts the blaster down and goes back to piloting the ship. Mathis, while you're down there, actually, I was looking for advantages, not successes, which is what you did. You did not succeed in fixing anything down there, but you did find that you didn't know prior. You did find that the weapons are completely offline, which makes sense because now you remember you don't hear the whirring. You didn't hear the whirring of blasters going off in the first place. The weapons are offline, and kind of looking at this mess down here, you're like, there is no way without landing this thing and really working on it, am I going to be able to get these wires hooked back up there?
Okay.
However, you might be able to wire them to something else so that it can be controlled manually from a separate person. And right as you're kind of like looking around, what can I wire these to control these? A droid falls on the ground right next to you. And you're like,
I look over to 420 as it hits the ground, and I'm like, perfect! And I kind of drag you over. I start like grabbing wires, and like I pop open, like I'm going to pop open your chest panel. And I'm like, don't worry, this is gonna be great. I'm a genius. And I'm gonna try and wire him up.
do you do anything, Krendor?
I just keep going like,
Awesome. So then we're going to bring it to Maggie. Would you like to roll another astrogation? You have no
I
boost
have no
die
advantage. And is it easier for me because you said now I figured something out, or is it still 3 difficulty?
We'll throw it down to the 2 difficulty. Thank you for reminding me of that. We will throw it down to the 2 difficulty. You lose the boost die because he's not assisting
Yep, I already removed the boost.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if it actually rolls properly. Because sometimes it doesn't seem to work. So it's still compute. Oh no, I'm doing astrogation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
So while you're working on this thing, you are able to kind of like Jesse. You see from the terminal up there, you have the astrogation terminal that's right there next to the pilot. You can see that all the things that are happening in it, you can see what's happening even if you don't have any way of controlling it. And so you actually see the algorithms working out, and it kind of locks on to where it needs to go, and it's ready to be punched if need be. However, at the same time that you make this happen, that you get the thing lined up to go, the connection between the 2 terminals breaks, and you lose the ability to control the astrogation from your terminal, as well as the astrogation from the terminal upstairs is not functioning right now.
I'm going to yell, Fitz!
What?
So,
What do you do now?
so
Me?
you're
I
locked
didn't do
on.
shit.
You're locked onto a target, but you have no ability to pull the trigger. So the
Tap the
pilot.
trigger. All I got the location. I locked it in.
I'm like, I look at 420, and then like, can I do anything from down here to help fix it?
You're going to have to go back up to the terminal where she is. So it's going to go to you in 1 second, where you can choose to either finish wiring him up to control the guns again, or go upstairs to do that one. We'll get to you in a second. In the meanwhile, the pilot, who is kind of like not entirely focusing at first what's going on, he's kind of like trying to pilot the ship and deal with the controls and everything, but like half the time looking over at the Wookiee who's covered in blood, and he knows for a fact this Wookiee was not a few hours ago, just completely covered in blood, sitting next to him, or at least trying to sit next to him, and he's just like and he's a little distracted, but he makes his piloting check, and so he's going around and he's trying to maneuver. But after the ship gets blasted a few more times and the shields are holding a bit, but a layer of the shields is removed as they get blasted hard. His focus kind of like then leaves from you and goes more back into the piloting. He's taking it more seriously, but at the same time, he's kind of under his breath cussing to himself with that, like, oh fuck, I'm not going to live this situation. Oh God, what's going on? I have no control over anything, and he's going about that. Mathis, to you, what do? Wire up the guns or run upstairs?
Shit, man. So literally, so nobody can do, like, nobody anywhere on the ship can hit light speed.
No.
The one terminal that was,
Get wrecked.
she disabled the first terminal and then accidentally just disabled the second one right as she short-circuited it as she got the thing to work from the wrong terminal. You know.
Shit.
Now, to be
Good.
fair, Maggie can try to mechanics and fix that terminal, or computers and fix that terminal, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you can just yell up to me and be like,
So yeah, I'll be like, middle of something. Can you do it yourself?
I can try. I mean,
Try, please. That's all you hear.
this is probably going to end up being horrible. It's going to go
Now
right.
you work your mechanics check to see if you can wire up the guns.
Again, what am I rolling against?
This one's going to be a mechanics check, and it's going to be difficulty 3.
3. Yeah!
Oh man. So
Yes!
ignoring you for a second, Krendor. lying on the ground like
No. Don't question anything,
Something is
Jesse.
wrong.
No, what are you talking about?
oh man.
We
Again,
only had one failed dice roll this entire time.
you're just like at as you're trying to like process what's happening, and he's gonna like ripping open your chest and grabbing wires and pulling things out, and like your vision kind of goes away for a second, but then it kind of comes back online, but then like you can't gather sound, and then that comes back online, and he's literally just kind of like doing all these crazy things in your
That's
chest.
horrifying. Poor little droid.
They don't have
life?
And then all of a sudden, like all of your senses go down, and then they come back online, but you no longer can see Fitz in front of you and hear what's going on inside the ship. Instead, you can detect the ship across the way, and you can target onto it if you want. You can completely control the guns as though they're your arms. You not only, oh God, you rolled so well. You not only have complete control of the ship's guns, you can target and everything with them, but you're going to roll every check with a boost die that you choose to use your gunnery. So
Jeez.
yeah, it's going to be gunnery skill is what you use, and you're going to be rolling all of them with a boost die.
All right.
Yeah. So immediately you come back online and you realize what's
I'm
going
gonna murder everything.
and you can start shooting immediately.
All right. I'm gonna shoot. So which one do I do for the boost die? Is that the blue one?
Light blue one.
Yep,
Blue,
it
light
is the
blue, yeah.
one. Yep.
Okay.
And the difficulty to attack the ship is going to be a 2 again. Sorry, a 1 because of the range of the ship. So
Okay. And then gunnery.
Nice.
oh man.
You just
So- Control the guns. You swivel them around, and this guy was blasting and whatnot. But you take to the sensors, and you realize there's a few like punctured or weak spots in the shields themselves. So you just start immediately blasting at those at the weak spot of the shielding, and you hit through. It opens up the shields even more, seriously weakens them, and you start blasting away at this thing and disable its front cannon. The one that it was using primarily to attack at you, you completely disable that thing, allowing it so immediately afterwards, the pilot is able to start kind of like swiveling around, seeing that thing go down. Not sure how or why that happened, but the guns are online, they're blasting, sees the cannon go down and starts swiveling around to the side or back of the ship so that it has starts swiveling around to the immediate front of the ship and tries to like stay and swerve so it stays in the front of the ship so it can't be hit. It also sees that the astrogation is ready to be triggered. And so like he instinctively like turns this thing around so the ship is back to the ones blasting at it, swiveling to stay in front of it, and hits the go button. He's like, all right, let's punch it. No! And the thing does not go off. In this case, we're going to bring it to Maggie. What do you do,
Right.
Maggie?
Should I use a destiny point
Do it.
to make it help us out? So that's just the middle thing. I just go 1 up, right?
Correct. That's going to, yep.
And then is it still 2 difficulty?
Oh, no. It doesn't. It's not going to make that go up. Instead, what you're going to do is upgrade. You're going to do 1 upgrade.
1 upgrade. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Because that's actually rolling for the force points.
Okay. I did 1 upgrade on my side, and then I'm going to go.
And then I believe you press use light side over in your destiny pool area, and that will give 1 to me afterwards.
Okay. Wait. What?
First you do your roll, and I'll mention the second part.
Okay. Hopefully this does it right.
Mhm.
Did it do right?
I did not see the upgrade take effect.
Hmm.
I'm looking at 420. I'm not looking at you. Let me get Maggie up here.
I did 1 upgrade.
Yep.
Oh,
Mhm.
downgrade. I put a downgrade.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
Sorry. Okay. It's a little confusing how it is in the character sheet. Okay.
Yeah. Trust me, I understand. Hey, much better.
Wow.
Awesome. So, and then press before I describe it, press the button that says use light side.
Where I
Right underneath where it says destiny pool, which is right underneath your dice pool.
that I clicked it. Nothing
Perfect.
happened.
Oh.
I did
You
twice.
clicked it
Sorry.
Yep. No problem. So I'm going to click it 1 side on my time, and that'll set it back to where it was before.
Okay.
And there we go. Now there's 2 light and 3 dark. So anyways, you use it, you upgrade, you have 2 successes. So you start wiring the ship, you get it to go. And not only do you wire it so this terminal is actually active again, you literally trigger it immediately afterwards and punch this thing into hyperspace. And so the ship just starts flying out of there as fast as it can. Awesome. The thing jumps into hyperspeed, and everybody, like after that, all this tension and everything is just kind of like, ugh. In which case, we're going to bring the attention to Jesse, who's sitting next to the Ugnaught, has his own moment of release before he kind of realizes there's a Wookiee sitting next to him.
Yeah, so I grab him and throw him downstairs. You don't need him anymore. You don't need a man in hyperspace.
Oh,
Then
God.
throw him downstairs.
So you don't need to roll anything. You literally just kind of like, huh? It goes flopping out through the hole and again, Maggie, you see this, and Fitz sees him kind of flop on the ground right next to 420. 420 on the ground, kind of like twitching a bit here and there as he's like playing with the guns and controlling the system to the best of his ability. Sadly, you do smell a little bit of like a burning, like an electronical burning smell coming off of the droid's body.
No.
He's controlling it, and this body lands next to you. He doesn't take the fall quite as well as 420 does, though.
I look down the hole and I yell, I think I got it.
A very verbal sigh of relief. And I examine 420 for a second and just like make sure everything's good, other than the smell of burning. And then I will kind of just pat him. And I'm going to leave him there. I'm going to start scrambling up the ladder. Actually, no, the Ugnaught. Is he unconscious?
He is unconscious. So he's lying there. He's completely unconscious. A bone is protruding from his arm, and his face is looking kind of bashed, and he's bleeding at a couple of spots. Whether or not he's living, but he's unconscious.
All right. Well, then I climb up the ladder.
Okay. You climb up the ladder to the, we'll call it level 0 where the prison is, because you're like sub-level, to where Maggie is.
When you come up there, I'm like, what happened to that Ugnaught?
I think he's alive.
What do you mean you think he's alive?
Your friend threw him. He landed.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he's
Not fine.
alive. I think he's alive. I don't know. I'm not a medic. I'm good with ships.
I'm gonna go down and try to check on the Ugnaught.
All right, and I'll make my way to where she was on the computer and just like do typical like maintenance and make sure everything's going well.
Sure, you can roll a computers check for me while you're doing that, just to kind of like do a diagnostics of the ship.
And my
really
difficulty of
quickly.
what?
And, that terminal's messed up right now, so difficulty 3.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, sorry, so it's 2. My apologies. Usually
It's
1.
2.
Difficulty
It's
2. Yeah. And you can do a medicine check for me, Maggie.
Okay. What's the difficulty?
1.
Okay, 1.
He's dead, Jim.
All right, let's see. No medical skills.
Okay. So we'll go to Maggie first. You look over and you're able to see that the guy is dead. And or at least he wasn't dead when you started checking him, but by the time you're like, oh, okay, no, no, now he's dead. And Mathis, over on the terminal, you start running a diagnostics check. You get it going. You're actually able to completely go slice through and go over all of the any firewalls, whatever happens to be in place to stop you from being able to check every part of the ship. And you start the auto run of this diagnostics. You don't get an immediate response. It's going to take a few hours to get the full kickback, but you start doing the check.
Okay.
While you're in there as well, you kind of just double check the astrogation, and you see it's just going to take a couple hours to get to where it was that you guys are heading to.
Okay. Where are we headed to? Where, just a close by planet?
It is a close by system planet, but you did not see where it was that you were heading. You cannot see where it was that you're heading to because the astrogation was really messed up. However, you might be able to find out where it was you were heading to prior to this combat if you want to try to do another computer check. But this time, because you're once again, you're going through the firewalls for a few ones are left. It's difficulty
I'm going to go back up because I do know where we were going before, right? And I know where I put us.
Oh, no. You do not know exactly where you were going. You kind of just had the, you're talking about where the ship is currently heading to. You were not aware of the exact location. You were just kind of like somewhere close by, safe, kind of like putting parameters.
Yeah, but I mean, I knew where the ship was going prior, which was near an Empire base.
Oh, that was your mistake because you had rolled so many disadvantages before that caused the maybe going there. That is not where the ship was originally heading before you broke out of your cells.
Oh, that's what you're saying. It was going there originally.
Yeah, no. That was because when you had rolled successes to take over astrogation, but had rolled a bunch of like disadvantages, which caused that negative side effect. Mathis, you're welcome to roll.
Computers with 2 difficulty, you said?
Please and thank you.
There you go.
You're able to see that. You're able to see you're heading to the OVO system, and specifically to the area of a prison over in the OVO system. So you are very happy to not be going there anymore.
Hell yeah. Now that we're relatively safe at this point, right?
Yeah, I come up back up the stairs, and I'm gonna be like, well, it looks like the Ognat's no longer with us.
Well, I kind of get like, kind of look at my face, but then kind of step away from the computer. Kind of have a sigh of relief. All right, well, we're safe. I'm going to go take care of 420. And I smelled burning, but I was busy. And I start scrambling downstairs. And I'm going to try and get him unhooked from the, I'm just going to unhook him from the weapons.
She's like, I'm not surprised. Also, I'm really not surprised. 420 burning. Just
shit! There it is.
I just had to mention it in case it went over.
It did. Sadly, it did.
I guess I'm gonna try to figure out if I can find any logs of the ship, like maybe paper logs or something like that, of like what was going on the ship before. Like what was the ship used for prior?
Definitely using the ship in general is now going to be a difficulty of 1, with the exception of trying to log back into the more secure areas, which is what you're doing. So it's going to be difficulty 2 computers to slice in and try to find out what it is that you're looking for. Oh, you did roll it. Sorry.
She just rolled it now.
Yeah, you just rolled it. Okay. I was waiting for it. I saw computers, and I thought it was Mathis. So you succeeded. So you go logging in, and you do look through and find what it was that the ship is serving for. So in short, this is a bounty hunter's vessel. The bounty hunter was, in fact, the Ugnaught, and the other 2 were just people that he was paying to be guards on the ship. So this is his ship, or was his ship, and he served to just go and collect easy targets and bring them to the various places. The most recent log was that he had made mention of found fits. The payout on this one seems pretty decent. Was easy to grab, and then after that one, the most recent one was found 2 easy targets. Could have been a bit of a rough one, but luckily one of them has a bit of a problem. And like a little joke to himself.
Can I remove the 2 logs? Our log and Fitz's log?
Sure, you go right ahead. And you don't have to roll. You just, delete the logs. And then prior to that, again, you just see that he has various bounties that he's picked up along the way, kind of skimming through. None of the names are names that you're familiar with. If I remember correctly, your character's more from the core worlds as opposed to out on the rim, which is where you are right now. But continuing to look through the logs, one of the areas that you do see is because of the fact that you were in OVO, you were over in, like, if you're looking at a galaxy map, you're over in sector S8, and that's right outside of hut space. And as you guys are quickly going to realize when you come to lands, you're not going to be traveling too far from there as it is. So you're still on the outer rim of the galaxy. So that's if anybody's looking at a galaxy map itself. So what do you guys do from here? I know that Mathis is going downstairs and just kind of unplugging Krendor, in which case is a few moments where, like, okay, he's unplugged, and now he has no senses, and you kind of just have to rewire him and put him together, and oh, wait, there we go, and he's fully functioning again. So you come to Krendor, and around the time that you come to, everybody's gonna realize, oh, the Wookiee's the one upstairs piloting the ship at the moment, or it's on autopilot effectively, but Krendor, you come too.
Roger.
I'll kind of pat you, like, kind of waving away whatever little smoke came out from the burning. I'm like, you all right?
Roger.
Great job, man. I didn't think you were gonna be able to do what you did, but you did it.
What did I do?
You had the guns of the ship, right?
The guns.
You don't remember?
The guns. The Wookiee. He threw me down the ladder.
Don't worry about that. He got you away from danger. He saved you.
He'd be friendly. He threw me down the ladder.
Look, I look to you and I, like, gesture. I'm like, do you know anything about Wookiees?
I know that I've fought a few Wookiees in my day. They weren't very friendly.
Well, that's about as friendly as they get. So.
Roger.
I can just see this moment in the future where effectively you just established to 420 here that that's a friendly hello. So at some point in time when the Wookiee's standing near a ladder, you're just going to be like, poof. Hello.
Well, I like, again, like, pat you and, like, brush you off and stuff. Like, well, you did a great job. And, man, like, I think for a minute and I, like, finally, like, again, the chaos has ended. And I, like, kind of run my finger, like, up and down. You're incredibly out of date.
What? Out of date?
You're one of them.
Well,
the B1 model, right?
B1
from
B1
from the
B1
from the Clone War era.
Clone. Yeah.
Wow,
B1,
that was
Clone War.
You are. Like, I almost say useless, and I'm like, you're very. You were. I'm glad we have you on our side, and I'll just, like, start climbing up the ladder.
Roger. What do you need me to do?
I kind of, like, as I'm mid ladder, I look back, kind of, like, shrug. Whatever you want.
Roger.
And
No.
And I'll go up to the level that we're on Maggie's. I'll go back up to the mid level.
Yep.
Where we were, and I'll go back to the computer and kind of just taking care of just, like, regular
I'm actually
maintenance.
on it right now,
Okay.
and you come up just as I finish deleting the last 2 logs, I guess.
I'll walk over to you and I'll kind of gesture behind me. That's a B1 battle droid.
When you put the delete command into the computer, Maggie, as you press the delete command, the computer like has text across the screen, Roger, and then deletes the files.
Oh, Jesus.
So you're literally just seeing that as you like look up and Mathis says, that's a...
Yeah, I point over, like, that's a B1 battle droid.
I guess would my character know that? I'm assuming I would, since I study a lot of things.
Absolutely. You would have been young when that war happens, but you were alive.
Okay.
Your character's how old again? Remind me.
She's really young. She's only 18.
Oh, I believe would have been born like around that time that the Empire took over and the Separatists and everything were destroyed and blah, blah. That would have been around when you were born. So you would know about it because your character is very educated from your upbringing.
Okay. And I'm like, I just look at you and I'm like, I would think that you would have gathered that from the moment you saw it.
I was distracted. But those things.
Distracted. You had your hands inside of it.
I was more worried about keeping myself safe. The thing could have been a protocol droid and I wouldn't have known.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway. It looks like the ship was owned by that Ugnaught, and I deleted our logs that we
Good.
were in. But
Thank you. Where are we going?
at this point, I don't know. You tell me.
I'll
Mr.
make my way over and
Dangerous.
like take a look at the terminal, and again noticing we're outside hut space. Well, better than going where we were going, I guess. Prison, in case you weren't aware. Oh,
Yeah,
there,
I
the Wookiee's
figured
back.
something of that sort.
I'm just, and again, I like changed subject. I'm like, I'm just amazed that there's a B-1 battle droid around. Those things were thrown to the scrap heap and discontinued years ago. They were almost made to fail.
Wait, who's piloting?
Your friend.
Oh no, this can't go well. I like leave you to go up and figure out what Warbo is doing.
Warbo, you have been uninterrupted this entire time since you tossed that guy down the ladder. This thing's effectively on autopilot since it's in hyperspace anyways. So what were you doing that entire time that they were all down there having the conversation? Several minutes have passed while they were doing a bunch of crap downstairs, and you were unwatched just up there at the pilot's terminal.
Yeah, Warbo is staring out into hyperspace as the stars whiz by, and leaning back in the captain's chair, having a nice huff of spice, getting blown out of his mind, looking at the stars fly by him. And he's like, oh. He's feeling space, man. He feel like he could reach out and touch the stars. That's where he's at right now.
Okay, so I won't lie. I literally forgot that you were a drug addict until just this moment, and I'm like, oh yes, oh. Yeah.
You left me alone. You left me alone.
I did. I left you alone.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
so, because I don't have the control in hyperspace. It's locked on, so I'm just cruising.
Whoosh, you are. Yes, you are. So that's what Nareem goes climbing up into to look around like, oh, what are you doing up? Oh.
Yeah, I'm not completely shocked if that's what you're doing. And I go up and I'm like, and I go right back down.
Yeah. As you leave, he sort of like his little bag of drugs. He just sort of like offers it to you, like, do you want some? And you get this really disgusting smell of something that just is very earthy, but
It's dank.
Yeah.
That's the word you're looking for.
Some dank spice. There's some dank spice, and you but his hand comes down with it as you're already gone. So he looks over and he looks around like maybe you weren't even there. He's like, oh boy, and he puts it away. He like puts it back in his pouch. She's like, ooh, maybe I should stop.
And when I get down to the middle level where Fitz is again, I'm like, we probably should not have Warbo flying. Can you pilot at all?
No, but 420 said he could, and I shout, 420!
Yeah, yes.
420 drive for the drug addict. You can't drive.
You said you can pilot a ship, right?
Roger. I can pilot any ship in the galaxy.
Then go do that.
Roger. I just start climbing the ladder.
When I see you climbing up, I realize I'm still on the ladder also. I go back all the way up to the top, and I'm going to try to coerce Warbo to come back down.
Warbo looks over at you and realizes you in fact are a real person, and stands up and is like, I'm like, he looks at you and looks at the stars, like, and sort of like comes back down the ladder as 420 is going up, but doesn't stop. Just down it goes.
Like into the basement?
Yeah. And where 420 is coming up, I'm going down and not moving out of the way. Because I'm high as a kite right now. I don't notice there's a droid.
I just kind of stop as I see him coming down. And I'm like,
Big,
where
hairy
is he going?
Just get out of his way, 420.
I don't have anywhere to go.
Just no, come onto this floor, like the middle floor where I am, probably where you are.
I try to get off onto the middle floor and barely get out of the way.
As the Wookiee just goes down.
Big
Yeah.
Wookiee butt, comes down.
And
But
now,
because he's really high, he doesn't know what floor to get off on, so he just keeps climbing down.
and then you can go back up.
I say, I don't like that Wookiee. And I just start climbing back up again.
I guess I'm gonna go down or like yell down for Warbo, and I'm like, "Oh, while you're down there, Warbo, can you bring that Ugnaught back up here?"
You see a corpse lying on the ground that's broken, battered, bloodied. Not as bad as the one on the second floor, but
Werbo just sort of looks around and goes,
Yeah. Well, there isn't another one, is there?
Werbo just, you don't hear anything. You just don't hear anything down in the basement. Just, he might have fallen asleep.
all right. 420 is able to get up to the over where the pilot seat is and just kind of sit down and just looks around, and you just see that these terminals are a mess. You don't know what kind of pilot controlled this ship before you, 420. You have no idea, but what you see is there's those areas where clearly just whole terminal screens are smashed from somebody hitting it. There's sparks flying from some areas. There's all sorts of alert symbols here. There's a whole breach that happened on the ship. You're looking at this thing like what moron has been piloting this thing, and how have they survived?
I call out for Fitz, and I'm just like, Fitz. All
Yep,
right, I
yeah,
know his
I'll,
name,
like-
right?
Yep, yeah, I'm assuming you
Okay.
know my name.
I call out for him.
I'll run over to the ladder and look up. What's up?
Well, I can't fly this thing. This thing is just madness.
I thought you said you could fly anything in the galaxy.
Not when it's broken.
It's broken. And I start scrambling up.
And I'm just like, look at this thing. When you get to the top, I'm like, this is broken.
I'll look at it. Is it like super busted?
It's really, really busted. With a quick check over at the astrogation terminal, you're able to see that luckily Nareem was good enough with the coordinate plotting and everything that it is going to come out of hyperspace on its own. You don't have to worry about like blasting through a star or anything like that. It will come out of hyperspace on its own. It's fine. But when it comes out of hyperspace, the controls are going to be wonky at best. So,
Okay, so I guess I'll try and start. I mean, we have 2 hours, right? So
yeah, you have a couple of hours.
I'm going to
yeah.
be sitting there, and I'll steadily be working on those to make sure that they're pilotable when we exit hyperspace.
Absolutely. So you just kind of start working on everything to make it so it functions. In the meanwhile, we have the Wookiee either staring off into space where he can't see space, or sleeping. We have 420 assisting. What's his name there? Fitz I'm trying to memorize everybody's names. Fitz into the controls, mechanically doing the mechanics checks on the controls, the computers checks to get everything functioning again. And what is Nareem doing down there on the second floor? There's a corpse lying there. There's 2 arms kind of like strewn about. There's a corpse, a whole. I mean, does she grab like a mop and bucket or?
I guess the first thing I'm gonna look for is to see if I see any like rations for food, and just make sure that like check on supplies, or if I see a supply list anywhere or anything like that, or
Sure.
maybe it's in the logs. I don't know.
Yep, absolutely. So you do actually see inside the log. So you immediately would turn around and check that first. You do see that there are supplies inside there. It's not 100% up to date. This guy was not like very good at keeping up on it, but it's relatively up to date. So you kind of go back into the area next to where the droid was on the table and all the stuff was kind of strewn about. To one side was the cabinets that held a lot of stored stuff. On the other side, again, more electromagnetically sealed things that are kind of popped open, were the supplies. So not that you go with necessarily the fine-tooth comb through the list, but you kind of double checking, making sure there is food here. And you do see there is like 2 weeks worth of food with the people that are on the ship right now, sitting here and whatnot. But more important than all of that, as you're walking to that area and you walk past the first 2 cells, and then the second 2 cells, you kind of just happen to look over at the one cell that still has the door shut, and you still see this corpse kind of like flying around in the zero grav of the cell with lots of blood just kind of strewn all over the walls and more clumps of blood just kind of like in the zero grav flying. Every once in a while, a part will kind of like come through the bars and onto the ground or run down the exterior of the door. It looks quite like a horror show inside there.
Wasn't me.
No, you're right though. It wasn't.
Wasn't me.
Technically, it wasn't. So you guys go about your business, do everything you have to do. Eventually, the combination of the two characters, you're able to get enough of the controls that you're not panicking when you come out of hyperspace. And you do come out of hyperspace, you immediately get into looking around. If you can make an astrogation check for me, Mathis, you're actually able to get this terminal functioning. Again, like you probably shouldn't do any actual jumps to hyperspeed again, but you can get the thing looking around. You have the best astrogation with a 4 green.
Yep.
And what is and 420 can give you a boost on that if you would like to. His astrogation being just a 1, but he can give you a boost on that.
Okay. And what's the difficulty?
Sorry, you're just trying to find out where you are, so it's going to be a 1.
Okay. Let me pop the dice thing. There you go.
Okay. So you very quickly are able to find out that you are in wrong screen. You are over in the Sul Reap sector in the Dernatine system. You're actually coming out of space right outside Bunta, the planet of Bunta. So this is an old Huttese planet. So it's one of the original ones that they had like taken forever ago. But it is a Hutt space planet that is here. It is surrounded almost as like a starship graveyard where tons of like just broken ships are floating around in space in this area. It's a really good spot if you're trying to avoid being caught by anybody other than the Hutts. And luckily, all of your characters are not starting off bad with the Hutts. So that's good news. Unless there's something I don't know. Okay, good. So,
I'm a huge fan of the Hutts.
yeah.
Good spice people. We're in the right sector.
So you come out of hyperspace and you're able to float through this area. It takes a little bit of navigation to get through the fact that there's a bunch of broken down starships just floating out in space over here that a lot of people go and harvest from. It's not like you can just like fly up to one and start taking parts off it if you want. That's a quick way to get blasted and then have your own ship harvested. You, of course, would have to pay somebody to be able to go and harvest things because everything here belongs to the Hutts, yes? And so you guys are pulling up to this place, and as soon as 420 takes over the navigation of the ship, you can see that he is just as good, if not better, of a pilot than who was piloting the ship beforehand, and with the greatest of ease, despite the clunky mechanics at the moment and the fact that now all the thrusters are working, is deftly moving through the ship. It's actually kind of while you're going through this and you're like, oh, well, okay, things are actually going pretty well. Your character kind of like pouring sweat from all the running around like a cartoon character. Fix this, fix that, do this, do that. They're like, oh, good. And then there's like blinking red light off to the side, kind of catches your attention. You look over and you remember, I forgot to unwire the shields. Oh my God, the whole system's about to fry. And you immediately go running back down into the basement to start unhooking that jury rig that you had put together to make sure that the ship would function during the battle. When you go down there, you do happen to come across the Wookiee, who's just kind of, you know.
How long does your high last?
Well, you know, it's like I'm very lethargic. The side effect of the drug is like it gives me bonuses, like a ton of bonuses, but it also makes me not give a damn. So
okay.
And once he comes out of it, he just goes back in.
So I'm just like,
all right. Well, I like kind of tiptoe over your legs or what have you to do what I got to do.
look, if you need me to fight on drugs, I can do that, but don't expect anything else.
Like I said, he very deftly travels through the broken ships and whatnot, looking around at all the different stuff that's there, and you are quickly able to kind of go into the planet. As you're going to land, there are a couple like little security check things. Not that you have to like give logs or who you are. You can tell that you can see on your scan on your like little security console there that others are scanning your ship as you're landing. Nobody stops or anything like that. You kind of scan the area. This is 420. You kind of scan the area for a place that seems to be a relatively safe place to land. Now, my question is this. What are the criteria that your outdated B1 battle droid circuits are telling you is a safe place to land? Like, what is an ideal location for you?
Well, where would a B1 battle droid normally land a ship?
I mean, you were programmed for
Great
combat.
question.
Yeah, you were programmed for combat, so keeping that in mind.
All right. I look around and I see what appears to be some sort of military base.
Oh.
And I decide, hey, this looks like a place I'd normally land. And so I decide to land here.
Awesome. So you kind of go and you land the ship over in the military base. You can see that the comm link light is blinking as somebody's trying to communicate with you. As you kind of instinctively go over and flick it, it's not functioning. And you flick it a few more times and it doesn't function, but that doesn't matter. You don't need to communicate. And you go over and you land the ship right inside this like docking area of this military looking base. And then of course you see in the military base. So again, with these fire spray ships, they tend to fly upright like this, but as they land, the driver's seat itself rotates and the gravity of the ship itself rotates so that everybody's kind of walking differently on the thing. It's a bit jarring if you're not used to it. The droid doesn't affect whatsoever because his seat literally rotates 90 degrees. So he's comfortable with how he was before and how he is now. But the rest of you guys, as he's going to land, it doesn't give you any warning whatsoever. You can imagine that everyone's like, oh shit, starts grabbing onto stuff and kind of flopping around. And then you have Werbichur who literally just goes onto the opposing surface. And you land the ship in the area. Looking out in the glass, you see that there's a bunch of people like wearing all different types of like armor and carrying different types of weapons are kind of like scurrying and running around and surrounding the ship and aiming weapons at it. And you're just like,
So we've landed.
You've landed, and he's aware of this. You guys are not. You guys are just a little achy at the moment.
All right, well, that's how that's gonna go, and we gravity is reset. I'll shout up like, "What's going on, 420?
I've landed the ship.
Where are we?"
Well, I landed where I normally land.
Elaborate details.
Well, as a B1 battle droid, we are trained to land in combat areas, and I've landed in a combat area.
I immediately start panicking. What combat area? Where are we?
Don't worry, I haven't landed in enemy territory, just in a combat area.
I scramble. Like, I'm not getting an answer. I start heading into the cockpit and like try to take a look around as to where we are.
You look around and you see that your character is not very streetwise, but you can roll one for me really quickly.
With how much difficulty?
1 difficulty.
Streetwise, my highest roll. Okay, no boost dice. There we go. Streetwise.
It's pretty simple. It's a pretty easy roll. You can do this.
So nothing. 0.
So you look around and you're like, you've got nothing. You're like,
we're on a planet.
You're on a planet. There's people surrounding you. They've got weapons trained on the ship. You know that's not good, but you have no idea why or where you are. You just know this is concerning.
I shout, Nareem!
I guess, can I see anything from where I'm at? I guess I'm probably in a different section.
You were kind of checking the supplies, the inventory and everything at this point. So you actually can see out of the ship because this is over where one of the glass areas is, but you can see up and kind of out, but not down at an angle where you can see the people. So you would have to make your way over to them, which is no longer a matter of climbing up a ladder. It's literally a matter of walking like 6 feet.
Okay, I'm going to walk towards them then if I hear him call my name.
Yep. And so you've been walking around and you see exactly that. Nareem, you may roll your streetwise as well for me.
What's the difficult or the challenge? Yeah, the difficulty.
It was a 1.
1. Okay. 1 and my streetwise. All right.
Nice.
That's like my best roll.
Incredible success. You realize that, so you knew that you were in hut space. You knew this was a hut planet and you land in a place that's here. It is very likely this is the landing pad for the huts specifically. Not like, oh, for marketing shit.
How did we get through? How did we land without permission?
No, this is
It's
a
a-
terrible idea. This
It's a really good
this
question.
is- why did we let them?
I lean forward, I look down, and I'm like, well, first of all, we shouldn't be landing here. Why are we landing here? This is a landing zone just for huts.
The comm light is still blinking.
I reach over. I'm like, oh, God! Like I run over and like hit it.
It's not working.
I will use a destiny point to just like bang it, and it works.
Awesome. So you just go over it and you hit the thing, and it works. That's beautiful. That puts them all in my pocket. This is going to be
All
a
but one.
wonderful last hour.
All but one. All but one.
Oh, you 3. Oh, that's right. All but one. So I'm going to click use light side for Mathis, and it instantly works. Comms light up, but we're going to take our break before we enter our last
Final
hour.
hour will be happening in about 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere.